I'm Damian Cooper, and my company, Plan Teach Assess, is my own consulting company. So, former teacher, consultant in a school board, and I have been working, this is my 9th year full-time running my own business, and very happy to have been invited back to Upper Canada. I have worked here on and off a number of times at events, but also working in Maxville Elementary School with a group of teachers who were working on a ministry funded project around kindergarten and early years writing, instruction and assessment. So it's been wonderful to be back here. The sessions were rather short, so I did a keynote this morning focused on my latest work, which is Redefining Fair. But I do want to comment that I was thrilled by the theme of the conference, which is deeper learning now. I do feel very strongly that there is a tendency, given the lack of time and given the ever-growing potential of what can and should be taught in this knowledge society, I'm concerned that a lot of the learning perhaps that goes on is about curriculum coverage maybe, but not deep understanding. And so the theme of the conference, I think, is very timely, that the need is to go deeply. And deep learning means not neat and tidy learning. It means messy learning. It means children of whatever age, students of whatever age, being comfortable with uncertainty and with controversy. And that on any complex issue, there are multiple perspectives. So whether we're talking about the events on Parliament Hill, whether we're talking about, I talked about Halloween in the keynote, and I want children of all ages to be comfortable talking about why Halloween, why we celebrate it, that it's not just a marketing opportunity for the people who manufacture costumes and candy, but what does it mean? What are the origins of it? Does everybody celebrate it? So to me, the theme was very timely, and it was easy for me to focus on that theme in terms of my own work. And my keynote focused on 5 imperatives, that curriculum today, always, but today particularly, must be seen by students as meaningful, relevant, coherent. And I put it in terms of teachers asking the question, what must stick after kids have finished their time in my class? We talked about the need for instruction to be informative, which doesn't mean one size fits all. And I talked about the fact that our whole educational system, not just in Ontario, but across the country, really focuses on a one-size-fits-all and defining learning according to the calendar. And of course, not all students learn according to that prescribed pattern and passage of time. And teachers need help with how to differentiate instruction, or the term I prefer being responsive in their instruction. We talked about assessment, and that the most powerful assessment isn't the summative kind that measures achievement at the end of instruction, but that which is responsive and ongoing. We talked about the challenges of grading and summarizing learning into what is really a very, very crude percentage grade or letter grade, and the problems with that. And I encourage teachers to see the report card as nothing more than a conversation starter. And these days, especially with instructional technology, handheld technology, we've got the capacity now to capture in a few seconds of video the depth of learning that's going on, of which a report card grade really can only be a very, very crude summary of that. And we talked about, as part of all of this, the need for clearer and more frequent communication with students and parents around learning. But in the breakout session this morning, one of the critical questions was, and it was really phrased by several people in the room, told us so much and you threw so much at us during that keynote, where do we start? And I said, I don't know the specific needs within Upper Canada. I simply address what I see as needs as I travel and I talk to teachers and parents and students. And so globally, these are the things you may wish to look at. But I said, with respect to particular focus for improvement in Upper Canada, you have to determine that yourselves by gathering qualitative and quantitative data around attendance, around achievement, around behaviors, around references to the office, around all of those kinds of things, so that from those 5 imperatives, perhaps one is critical to address right now in terms of this is where the greatest needs lie with our student community. So, people have talked about data-driven decision-making. It's not data-driven, it needs to be data-informed, as opposed to, Cooper's imperative number 3 sounds kind of fun. It's not about what sounds like fun. It's not about flavor of the month. It's not about fads. It must be about, given all that we know around possible interventions in the classroom, as Hattie says, our decisions in terms of what we embrace must be based on not a fad, but what gives us the greatest return in terms of an intervention. And that decision has to be made at the school level, at the district level, in a way that is responsive to the particular demands of this community. A key message would be the title of my most recent book. We have to redefine fair. Fair not to mean sameness, but fair to mean, do we create classrooms, schools, whereby every student has an equal opportunity, equal access to learning and to success? Doesn't mean every child's going to get an A in everything, but it means we as teachers must realize this is not a factory-driven model. This must be a responsive model based on student need.